In this course on social welfare and social legislation, we are now going to talk about the welfare schemes for children. It is axiomatic to state that the development of children is the single most important step which a nation can take to ensure the best utilization of its physical and material resources as well as its societal well-being. With the largest population of children in the world, India now has the responsibility to enforce child rights and furthermore to make provisions for the proper physical, mental and emotional development of its children. This is a huge responsibility, but this responsibility with itself brings the greatest opportunity for India as a nation. These children of today represent a possible great citizenry of tomorrow. It is the duty of the society and the government to make sure that these children get the environment to grow into the best possible individuals they can be. The Indian Constitution mandates the state in Article 15(3), which is a part of the fundamental rights, to make special provisions for women and children. Articles 23 and 24 prohibit the trafficking of human beings and the employment of children below the age of 14 years in factories, mines, as well as other forms of hazardous employment. Article 39C and F of the Directive Principles of State Policy direct the state to ensure that the tender age of children is not abused and that sufficient opportunities are provided to children to allow them to develop their faculties. Article 45 further states that the state should make a provision for early childhood care and education for all children until they complete the age of 6 years. On top of all these, there is the right to education, which is available to all children of India between the ages of 6 and 14 under Article 21A. The same has been operationalized with the Right to Free and Compulsory Education Act of 2009. In the course of this unit, the various policies which have been initiated by the government for purpose of welfare of the children will be examined in detail. We will also analyze whether these policies have impacted their objectives in the same manner as was expected of them. Let us begin with the National Policy for Children in 1974. In accordance with this policy, the state shall provide for services before, during and after the birth of the children for their proper physical, mental and social development. This includes adopting a comprehensive program for meeting the nutritional and health related needs of children, including the midday meal scheme, ensuring the compulsory education of all children until the age of 14 years, and making special provisions in favor of children belonging to backward and weaker sections of the society. The National Charter for Children was sought to be adopted by the government, which expresses the intention of the government to promote the welfare of children. It further emphasizes the commitment of the government towards ensuring the right to survival, health and nutrition, early childhood care, standard of living and education and protection of the girl child. After looking at that policy of 1974, we can say that while it was an exemplary policy in ideational terms, it did not achieve what it set out to do. It could not as expansively and extensively provide for welfare of children as it sought to. It had several operational problems, and it also had issues relating to resources and infrastructure in its implementation. It is also said that while it was drafted with the best of intentions, it was not carried out with the same fervor. The next plan of action for children came out in 2005. It was the National Plan of Action for Children 2005. After harmonizing the goals set by the UN General Assembly Special Session of 2002, the goals for children were sought to be made more uniform and relevant to the present day context. This action plan includes within its ambit the goals, strategies, aims and activities for enhancing the nutritional status of children, increasing the school enrollment rate and ensuring the universalization of education. There are 8 parameters on which this plan is based. These include the reduction of the infant mortality rate, child mortality rate and the maternal mortality rate. It further includes making a provision for equitable access to drinking water and improved access to sanitary means and ensuring that 100% of the rural population have access to basic sanitation by 2012. This plan also seeks to remove disability, eliminate all child marriages and ensure the reduction in number of infants affected with HIV. You can see that this plan of action is a very broad-ranging plan of action. It harmonizes the Special Session objectives of the United Nations of 2002 with India's objectives qua its children. Now let us look at the Integrated Child Development Scheme or ICDS. The ICDS was launched in 1975. The ICDS has come to embody among the most unique programs for ensuring the early childhood development of children. It affirms the commitment of the state to provide for proper means of preschool education and to remedy the problem of malnutrition, reduce the learning capacities and mortality rate. The primary objective of the scheme are 1. To address the nutrition and health related needs of children below the age of 6 years. Second, to take all measures to ensure the proper physical, psychological and social development of the girl child. Third, to coordinate the formulation of policy as well as proper implementation of the policies to ensure and promote child development, and fourth, to provide all the necessary support to the mother to provide for the proper nutritional and health requirements of the child. A package of services is envisaged to be provided through this scheme, which provides for additional nutrition needs and health checkups, non-formal preschool education, immunization, and spreading awareness about basic health norms. The concept of non-formal preschool education is regarded as a significant component of the ICDS. Anganwadi centers, also known as village courtyard, are sought to be established in every village, and the estimated total number of Anganwadis is 1.4 million. The purpose of these Anganwadis is to enable children to engage in daily activities, usually in a group under the guidance of Anganwadi helpers. This measure has been introduced for the assistance of those parents who are working in the fields or as laborers during the day and are unable to provide for proper care of their children. These Anganwadis have been extended in the scope now, and they also include teaching the children and imparting other skills to them. As specified in the objects of the scheme, this program targeted towards children in the age group of 3 to 6 years. It seeks to provide for a joyful and stimulating environment for the children. The program is beneficial to the parents who can send their children to a safe learning environment, and also for the children who have the benefit of a social learning environment from a very young age. It has also been observed that the Anganwadis have done away with the need for the older siblings, especially girls, to take care of their younger siblings. This enables them to attend schools regularly. It also reduces the early burden of motherhood imposed on the elder siblings in rural India on girl child. Let us now look at the Integrated Child Protection Scheme. The Integrated Child Protection Scheme, or the ICPS, is a centrally sponsored scheme for creation of a protective environment for children in difficult circumstances, including through the means of government, civil society, partnership initiatives. Many existing schemes for protection of children are sought to be brought together, and the ICPS further integrates various interventions necessary to protect the child. The scheme ensures the institutionalization of essential services, enhancing the capacity levels and strengthening child protection at the family and community levels. The concept of child protection is based on guarding the child from any real or potential threat or risk to their life and childhood. It aims at making the child less vulnerable to harm and to protect them from the occurrence of harmful situations such as child labor, violence in the family and community, child marriage, child abuse, and commercial sexual exploitation. Sufficient measures need to be taken to ensure that every child benefits from the social security and the safety net sought to be provided by the government. The government has also sought to make a distinction in cases of those children who are vulnerable due to socio-economic or geopolitical conditions, by characterizing them as children in difficult circumstances. It should be recognized that for the successful realization of the Millennium Development Goals, it is crucial that the concept of child protection becomes an integral concept and gets included within the programs, strategies and plans of the government. The Ministry of Women and Child Development has expanded the scope of its mandate and takes the view that child protection is an important component of the strategy of the country to keep the development of the child at the core of the 11th Plan agenda. There are several instances of the violations of rights of the child, which, along with being cases of human rights violations, are often under-recognized and not sufficiently reported, affecting the survival and development of children. This inability to adequately recognize the importance of protecting the child has an adverse effect on the physical, social, and psychological development of the child. The National Plan of Action for Children, instituted in 2005, puts forth a rights-based approach for the proper growth and development of the child. The policy is regarded as the primary basis for the developments for children, and it guides the planning and development activities to be undertaken by the administration. Juvenile Justice Program fundamentally recognizes that children are different from adults when it comes to criminal activities. Children do not have sufficient mental understanding. Also, childhood is the period when mind takes a certain shape. At that time, putting children through penal processes, putting them through the courts and jails might harden their negative tendencies and might not allow them the chance to come out of the bad habits or bad situations they might have fallen into. The implementation of Juvenile Justice Program makes sure that these children are given an opportunity to come out of that area. The implementation of this program is being undertaken by the Ministry of Justice and Empowerment. The Juvenile Justice Program is directed towards providing proper care and support to children in difficult circumstances. Important components of the scheme include the setting up of a National Advisory Board on Juvenile Justice, creating a Juvenile Justice Fund, providing for training, sensitization of the judiciary, administration, and police for implementing the Act in a responsible manner. It is recommended that all available measures should be sought to be exhausted before institutional care is resorted to. The juvenile justice homes should be improved, and the same is sought to be undertaken through providing financial assistance under the scheme. We will now look at the Childline India Foundation. Childline India Foundation is the nodal agency of the government, and it has been set up to provide for quality-based development of the Childline service in India. Childline India Foundation is involved in creating awareness and taking up advocacy for the improvement of efforts relating to child welfare. After having looked at these schemes, we are going to look at the nutrition program for adolescent girls. You are aware of the different needs of the girl child in the Indian society. Though legally barred, it is still common for child marriages to happen, especially in rural settings. It is also seen that young girls, because of the patriarchal social system, are often not cared for as much nutritionally as they should be. The result is a special need for the young girl child. The nutrition program for adolescent girls seeks to address this problem. As a measure to address the issue of undernutrition, which is widely prevalent among adolescent girls, pregnant women, and lactating mothers, the government has launched the nutrition program for adolescent girls on a pilot basis. In accordance with this scheme, approximately 6 kgs of food grains were distributed, and eligibility to avail of this scheme was ascertained on the basis of the weight of the girls. This project was extended to 2004. However, it had to be concluded in 2005. During 2006, this scheme was implemented in 51 backward districts of the country, which had been identified by the Planning Commission. This scheme is continued thereafter on a project pilot basis in certain districts of the country. Adequate funds are provided to the states to enable them to distribute the food grains through the public distribution system to the families of undernourished persons. The government has taken concerted measures to provide for vaccination of children against the diseases like diphtheria, pertussis, polio, measles, tetanus, as well as typhoid. The Universal Immunization Programs, the UIP, had been initiated specifically for this purpose, and a majority of the children have received some form of immunization. A majority of children have received vaccines for the diseases of DPT and measles vaccine. In fact, in accordance with the recent government reporting, the government has successfully combated the problem of polio. India had launched the campaign for eradication of polio by the name of Pulse Polio Immunization Program. The Pulse Polio Immunization Program was launched in 1990. It adopted a new strategy for identification of the national immunization days, and it collaborated with many partners including leading public personalities, non-governmental organizations and civil society groups for launching this mass community initiative. There was a reduction in the number of cases of polio reported over the past few years, and in recent years almost no cases of polio have been reported. This is a massive victory of the immunization program, as polio often rendered people who would otherwise have lived good lives completely incapable of leading good and meaningful lives. In conclusion, we can say that the important schemes of the government launched for the purpose of protection and development of a child have been analyzed in detail. The most significant of the schemes launched by the government are the Integrated Child Development Scheme and the Integrated Child Protection Scheme. While the ICDS is focusing on ensuring child care, early stimulation and learning, and fulfilling the health and nutrition needs of the child, the ICPS focuses on institutionalization of services and protection of children. The ICDS scheme has impacted nearly 4.8 million expectant mothers and 12.5 million children belonging to backward communities. To improve the reach of the programs, it has been proposed that the participation of the community should be improved. A proposal for maintenance of a community growth chart which focuses on monitoring the nutritional status has been made. This growth chart mobilizes support from the community to promote better child care services. Special focus was laid on meeting the self-development as well as nutritional needs, health education, literacy, as well as recreational needs of adolescent children. In lieu of this, a nationwide empowerment program for adolescent girls was launched in 2000 called the Kishori Shakti Yojana scheme. Several noteworthy initiatives have been launched by the government for protecting and improving the status of children in India. In recent times, there has been a realization to ensure the adoption of a rights-based approach for ensuring maximum benefits to children. Special initiatives should be undertaken to identify the specific needs of children, especially those children in difficult circumstances, and formulate programs which seek to address their concerns.